Hi folk, Mark here with another SLP short, and this one is part cross-promotion, part putting my thoughts out there again on something I've been thinking and probably saying for a long time. Look, loads of us think our sports broadcast partner doesn't do a great deal to help the sport. Generally, I disagree. For example, I'm in that minority of match-going rugby league fans who think Thursday night games are a good thing. I mean, minimal viewing competition for sports fans, particularly team sports fans. TV viewers more likely to be at home than out at another match or sporting event or social event. Less fuss from a non-sports fan other half as well on a Thursday night in front of the TV than if you're taking up a weekend slot in front of one. Sky's Thursday night games can really be seen as a positive sales window for the game, in my view. Then there's the fact that there's helped give us the fun of Magic Weekend. Of course, the broadcasters contributed to that, and the expansion of their coverage in recent times to help bring a spotlight on the women's game. 2 women's grand finals in a row live on Sky, and the wheelchair game, the Wheelchair Super League grand final, was live on Sky this year. Although I certainly feel there's more they could do, opportunities to boost their viewing figures and our fan base that are being missed. So, work to be done. Recently, on a recording of the Hyperthetic RL podcast with friend of SLP David Hunter, conversation turned to one of those topics that I thought I'd share again with the SLP listeners. Before I get into it and play a clip from mine and David's chat, I should tell you to search for Hyperthetic RL to listen to me and David discuss how different the 2021 Super League season may have been if all the teams played the 25 games they should have done instead of only Wigan managing to do so. I'll put a link for this in this SLP Shorts show notes, or look across all your normal podcast places. It's Hyperthetic, spelled HYPERTHETIC at Hyperthetic RL on Twitter. But like I say, there'll be links in the notes or on our social media pages. But here's us at the end of that chat going off topic onto the topic that this SLP short's about.
So maybe drop the loop fixtures. What do you think?
As long as it would guarantee that everyone who thinks that travelling 50 minutes on a Thursday night is the most impossible thing to do in the world, then they realise that isn't that impossible, so all games are well attended, then I'd be well up for that, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, if you could guarantee me 80% capacity stadiums for every single Super League match, then I think even the owners would feel like they didn't need 3 or 4 extra home games.
Yeah, and look, we had a discussion, not for this podcast, for something else that's going to come out later. It's about, how can Super League maximise its potential, and I think there was some discussion about structure and season back then, what's coming out later. When I say back then, it's coming out after this. Look, I think anyone looking from the outside, the Australian looking from the outside is like, why do you play so many games? And the other one is, why aren't all your games on TV? But they also forget that all our games weren't on TV until like the 2000s. So,
Look, if your broadcasters want to pay for all our games to be on TV, then that would be fantastic. Thank you. We'll take that.
I would very much love that. I want to see more games. Why can't I see all the games?
We'd kick off at 8 p.m, 9 p.m, so that the reasonably capable hours of people in your country watching.
Oh, get up in the morning and watch. I mean, we all get up and watch the NFL games if we can. And then, who wouldn't love Monday morning football? You just got to pay at 7 o'clock on or 9 o'clock
8 o'clock kick-off on a Sunday night.
On Sunday night, it'd be fine.
Do you know one thing we didn't talk about in that other show? You might want to edit this out of this show, but one thing we didn't talk about in that other show was, I've always thought that an absolute clear strategy for Super League and Sky Sports should be, when the NFL season finishes, they should do a run of Super League games in that spot that NFL's normally on. So 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening, our time. Sky show the NFL over here and they show Super League over here. I think no sport is closer to rugby league than American football, and vice versa in terms of what they are. The only real difference is the amount of stoppages they have and the ability to throw one forward pass. That's, to me, the most significant difference.
Well, I mean, I suppose it depends on the team you are, because a lot of them are able to throw one forward pass in the Super League, but that's okay.
That's a good point, yeah. I mean, just, back in the days when Brent Webb played for Leeds, it was basically you could score a touchdown because every pass was forward. But yeah, I think that's a real own goal that no one's ever picked up on. Yep. And you'd only need, you wouldn't have to do it all year if you want your normal broadcast spots of your Friday night. You could just do one extra game for that period of in the broadcast deal. I'm sure Super League would not ask for more money for an extra game to be shown. And I know it'd be an extra cost for Sky to go and broadcast those games, but I just think that would be then where you capture your audience for that trade over, because the seasons overlap pretty neatly. The NFL season starts about a month before the end of the Super League season, but now the NFL first 4 weeks is basically the preseason, because they don't have a preseason. And Super League starts around about Super Bowl weekend every year. So they dovetail really nicely with each other. I think if I was in charge of Super League, I'd be going to Sky Sports and suggesting for 3 or 4 weeks, can we have either, rather than the Thursday night game or on top of the Thursday and Friday night games, a televised game that kicks off at 6:30 on a Sunday night.
Yep, I think
on the same channel that you've been airing NFL on.
That does make sense if they think that there was some market in North America, but I don't think they do.
No, I mean in England.
No, but what I'm saying is, I see what you're saying. You're saying for the English fans too. Okay, yeah.
I'm saying our Sky Sports channels in England that show the NFL could show the Super League in that same slot.
That's very true. Yeah, sorry, I was missing.
Because
I understood what you said, and then I didn't think about it properly. Yes,
NFL has been a huge growth sport in England, as it probably has been in Australia as well, I guess, with the globalization that we live through now of entertainment. Yeah. But ever since they started bringing games to Wembley in particular, in American football, I know as many people that have an NFL team that they support, quite strictly. That people I work with, people I socialize with, etc. in my normal daily life, as I know people that have a rugby league team that they go and watch regularly.
Yeah, well, look, fair enough. I think. Let's leave all that discussion for the other part.
Cut that out.
I'm not cutting it out. Staying in. It's wonderful.
So I think my view and idea as will have come across there. If it's not come across when I've probably said it dozens of times before, I think, putting a bit more meat on the bones, I think the NFL audience could really be a growth area for Super League audience. I know it maybe sounds counterintuitive with one game being founded over here in 1895 and then the other one not being from here, only really rising to any sort of popularity in the 1980s. But quite simply, they get more people in Wembley than we do nowadays. Sky give them a whole channel for almost half of the year. We don't get that from them. The NFL themselves estimate a fan base of 13 million in the UK, and I know from personal experience these fans are spread out all across the country, really enjoy fast action, hard hits, as well as a beer at the game, which you can get in the NFL like you can get in Super League. Those from that 13 million that aren't already RL fans, I think are made to be RL fans. The game should put emphasis on promotion of our sport in and around London for those autumn weeks that the NFL is in town, plus push Sky to promote our matches during NFL coverage, either at the season start of the NFL, building up to our grand final. It's a prime time to get people aware of watching it on the TV, or with my idea that the broadcaster should fill the Sunday evening slot that becomes a vacuum for them once Super Bowl Sunday is out of the way, fill that with rugby league content. I mean, I don't know. maybe I'm being too much favour of my own idea, but how is it anything other than a no-brainer? And if you agree, let's all make Sky Sports and Super League aware of what a simple option this is for them to take advantage of. Fill up their social media accounts with this episode and this idea, please. Let's be proactive and try and make something happen. And with that call to arms, I'll thank you thank you for listening for this SLP short. I'll leave you with another tease as well of the sort of segue me and David went down on our hypothetic look back at the 2021 season. So I hope you enjoy it, and cheers.
That's another thing I haven't actually examined. Like, what if a player was 70 years younger?
Yeah.
What if you, or older? Sorry, it should be. So what if you played back in the day? But I think I've heard from quite a few other podcasts I think I listened to where they basically just say, oh look, any player nowadays would be like the best player back then, and all those players would be good now, and it's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, look, that's another comment for another day.
Basically, what we're saying is Luke Gale now is better than Peter Sterling was in the 80s.
Well, look, no, we're not saying that, because there's a difference between Luke Gale and Peter Sterling is that, Luke Gale, I don't think he's very creative. I don't like Luke Gale at all. But you're just trying to troll me badly, aren't you? All right. Well, before we go trailing off into discussions of why I'll never speak to you again, I'll thank you and I'll let you go.